Hey everyone, welcome to Judging for the Win. I'm Dave, and this is my daily ruling. Amy casts Slaughter games and names Jace the Mind Sculptor. Nick hands over his deck and Amy searches through. She pulls out 1, 2, 3 Jaces, at which point Nick says, "I only run 3." Amy then gives Nick his deck back. He shuffles up and they continue playing. Little did Amy know, though, that Nick was actually playing 4 Jaces in his deck. A few turns later, he draws and plays the last Jace, at which point Amy calls a judge and protests that they all should have been removed. When you talk to Nick about this, he admits that he lied about how many Jaces he was playing because it's a key card in the matchup and he wanted to have some left. What is the appropriate infraction, penalty, and fix? Okay, so before I start talking about the ruling, I'm going to talk a little bit about the philosophy behind the policy that governs this sort of stuff. Reason being is it's actually extremely important to know the philosophy behind the policy, especially in cases like this where you know it's going to be a really contentious ruling and whichever player you rule against is certainly going to ask, well, why would or wouldn't that be allowed? So, Magic is actually pretty unique among strategy games in that it has both hidden information, such as what cards are in your hand that you can bluff with, and invisible information, such as who has priority or what triggered abilities are on the stack. As a result of this, it's very important for there to be a clear distinction between what types of information it is or is not allowed for a player to lie about. Otherwise, you're going to have problems because one of those things that makes Magic unique relies on having hidden information that the opponent can't see that you can bluff with, and the other relies on having both players be extremely clear about what's going on so that everybody's on the same page about what invisible objects are working. Magic has addressed this by coming up with 4 different categories of information, and only one of those classes, private information, it's legal for a player to lie about. This means that Nick's bluff is only legitimate if the number of Jaces in his deck is considered private information. Here is the definition that they give for private information, and indeed, none of the other types of information has a clause that would cover this type of situation. So, how many Jaces he has is indeed private information, and this bluff was completely legitimate. Now, another thing that we need to consider is the resolution of Slaughter games. When Amy went through, she only found 3 of the 4 Jaces that were available. Now, this is indeed a legal way to resolve Slaughter games, because when you're searching a private zone, such as a library, for cards who have certain characteristics, such as matching the name of a certain card that you picked, then it is legal for a player to search and not find all of the cards that are available that match those characteristics. So, it is legal for Amy to search through Nick's library and only get 3 out of the 4 Jaces. Because it was a legal way to resolve Slaughter games, there is no infraction. If this was a different situation and there were some sort of requirement that Amy find all 4 Jaces, then that would constitute an illegal action in the resolution of the spell and a game rule violation, which might allow for a backup or a partial fix. However, since this is not the case, the game will proceed as normal, and Amy will probably be a little bit disappointed. And that's all I have for you today. How did you do? Join me again tomorrow for another daily ruling, but until then, I hope you have a great day.